Hey dorks! We're so excited to have you join us on our quixotic quest to break down the Star Wars series ANDOR 7 minutes at a time. We love exploring this cosmic jumbo of Star Wars lore and real-life politics every week, and if that's something else you really love, we want to invite you to join us over on our Andorx Patreon.
Check out patreon.com/AndorxPod, where for just 5 credits per month, you'll get our full Andorx Detours, where we get to talk about the movies that inspired the show, the Star Wars lore that connects to Andor, and just about anything else that we think our listeners would enjoy.
You'll also get early access to every episode on the main feed, meaning there are 4 episodes of Andorx waiting for you right now. Well, now it's time for the show. Cue the music.
Welcome to Andorx, the podcast where every week we'll analyze and scrutinize the Star Wars series Andor 7 minutes at a time. My name's Rusteen Honardoost.
And I'm Alex Wallace.
We have friends everywhere, and today we are joined by our friend, maker, and cosplayer Liz McFarland. Welcome.
Hi, Liz.
Thank you for having me. I am a fan of the pod. I do listen to the podcast, and I love Andor, so I'm excited to talk about it with you.
Yes, you've been one of our day one listeners, so
For sure.
We're very honored to have you on the show
Oh,
today.
thank you.
Your support means the world to us.
I question your evaluation of things, but yes, thank you for being here. Yes.
I support my friends
Thank you.
and their endeavors. So
I know you've been giving my wife a little bit of shit about not listening to the show.
I was a little surprised they hadn't listened to any of it.
They don't listen to podcasts.
That's
is step
fair.
one.
Yeah.
And they have
They
a
read
real
books.
job. They read books, and they have a real job that does not allow them to listen to other people talk about nonsense while they're doing it. Is also part of it.
Yeah.
And they hear me edit and listen to
Okay.
all of these videos.
So they've heard like the behind the scenes. They've heard.
They also live with you, which means that they've
Yeah.
heard
That's
all of
true.
these things before.
which is the worst part about it.
They did say they would listen to my podcast. So
Well, that's because
Yeah,
your
my
podcast would be
episode.
amazing.
yeah.
What would you do if you had a podcast?
I think I would probably. I don't know. It's so dorky. I would probably talk about Jane Austen.
Cool.
Because the way that you are about Star Wars is the way I am about Jane Austen.
So you would do a Jane Austen podcast 1 page at a time?
The one page at a time, or I would talk about like the adaptations because there
Sure.
are so many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would probably be my topic.
Well, maybe by the time this episode comes out, you'll have gotten bit by the bug. And
Are there any
and have a
narrative
podcast.
crossovers between Andor and any of her novels?
Not quite narrative. Although I did want to note that like
Or characters?
there is more romance in Andor than is typically in Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's like multiple relationships in this season, which is great. And then
And we're going to get to talk about some of them today.
I know I was pleased when I watched my
Mhm.
my 7 minutes and saw that we had one of the cute couples. So we get to talk about that.
Yeah, Star Wars and romance, despite what a big part it is of the original, 6 movies, not always the best part of those movies.
Not always the best written part of those movies.
Well, while we're talking about, what's your connection to Star Wars and how did you find the show Andor?
Okay, well, like most millennials, I watched the VHS original trilogy. I remember my dad showing me and my sister. It must have been before the prequels came out, so we were pretty young. And I remember watching it with him in our living room, and I remember being very upset when Luke gets his hand cut off. That was like, it was pretty scarring.
It's a scary moment.
It was a pretty
You know
scary
who
moment.
was really scarring for? Luke.
Yes. Good points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I distinctly remember that part when watching it with my family. My family is like sci-fi people. I mean, they kind of generally prefer Star Trek, but my parents also loved Star Wars. And so we watched the movies as a family. We saw the prequels as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what started it all.
That's where you got it from.
Yeah, my parents, for sure.
How did they feel about like the new movies as they were coming out?
My parents are not the most like critical film enthusiasts, so I think I remember them like liking the movies. I don't know that they've revisited the prequels since they came out, really. I remember watching Revenge of the Sith, and I was a teenager at that point, but not very old. And I just remember feeling disappointed. I think it was the first time I felt like disappointed watching Star Wars, especially the way that Padme's storyline is treated.
Sure.
I'm trying to remember like the first movie that I realized movies could be bad.
It wasn't, I didn't realize Attack of the Clones was like quote unquote bad, but I remember seeing it with my dad and talking to him afterwards and he being like, What the fuck movie did you make me go see?
Attack of the Clones was fun, though.
Are you a Attack of the Clones defender? We've had one guest, Siddhant, who said that's his favorite prequel. So I'm curious.
I don't know if it's my favorite prequel. I have rewatched them fairly recently, and I like them more than I remembered. But it's also, I watched them as a child, so nostalgia also factors into it. But yeah, I remember Attack of the Clones being really fun. I mean, I distinctly remember like the arena scene and the monsters, and yeah, that's fun.
That's the best part of that movie. You just have to get through like 5 minutes of C-3PO clunking around in a droid factory first.
Yes.
Liz, you are a cosplayer, and
Yes.
you've done a lot of great Star Wars cosplay. Like, when did you start doing that, and what about Star Wars, captures your imagination?
I mean, Star Wars has great costumes. The prequels, especially, having some really great Padme costumes. But no, I started cosplay. Well, I started costuming when I was a kid. My mom would help make my Halloween costumes, and so we would dress up every year. And I just remember dressing up being a really fun thing to do. And I would always go all out at Halloween, even as like a college student and adults. And then when Mike and I moved to Los Angeles, like 11 years ago, LA has a lot of great costume events and cons. And we went to our first con, and I knew I wanted to dress up. And that was my first like cosplay, was at BlizzCon some 11 years ago.
I never realized that started when you came here to LA. I just always assumed you'd been doing it
There's not as much cosplay in suburban Virginia. More so now, probably.
Well, more now, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I was like, I need a hobby. And so costuming,
people were
cosplay.
driving to Otakon for a while.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. But I didn't really grow up with it as a kid. Like cosplay and conventions weren't really a thing.
It was like Halloween was your
was the
avenue
dress
in
up.
which to do that.
Yeah.
That's where it was socially acceptable to
Yes.
do it. Your parents are okay with dressing up for Halloween?
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up pretty conservative. I was homeschooled, and there was something I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter because of the witchcraft.
The Force is removed enough from witchcraft that
sci-fi is okay, but then fantasy.
I'm excited that we're gonna have a generation of kids growing up who didn't watch Harry Potter because their parents were woke.
Yeah, I honestly don't really regret not growing up with Harry Potter now.
Yeah, you dodged that bullet.
Yeah.
My parents never let me watch Harry Potter because of somebody named Kingsley Shacklebot.
Halloween was okay. I wasn't allowed to dress as anything scary, though. So I couldn't dress up as like a witch or some kind of like monster.
When you pitched Darth Maul, they didn't like that.
No.
Do you have any highlights or just favorite memories from like cons or cosplaying that you'd like to share?
One of the cosplays that I am most proud of and that I've given talks about is so the movie's not great, but Wonder Woman 1984, she's got this crazy gold costume with wings, and I built electronically actuated cosplay wings for that cosplay, and I wore it to San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition, which is what they did in 2021, in lieu of like proper...
Right, because that was a COVID movie.
Yes. COVID movie, COVID Con, which honestly was really great because it was like half as busy as it normally would be. And
totally.
I got to do the cosplay contest, and I won a few awards for it. Cool. And it was very hard to build and very uncomfortable to wear. So I have not worn it since then. However, I love it.
Doing laundry. When you run out of clothes and you have to do laundry. When you get to that, you're done. Yeah.
But no, I love cosplay because you get these costumes that are like so clearly like teams of people have worked on making them. Sometimes they're not even like real like materials. It's like CGI. In the case of Wonder Woman's costume, there was like multiple versions of it for like close-ups and action shots and so on. So being able to like translate something that may not be fully real into something that a human can wear is really cool.
Yeah. I've been going to a lot of cons this last year, and the highlight is always getting to see people's outfits and how they have brought these things to life. Like at Comic-Con this year, there was like a guy in a giant like inflatable Thanos costume, which was like absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the huge like big
ass?
cosplay.
Yeah, with his big ass. Exactly.
Thanos is thick.
Yeah, he was caked up.
I mean, have you seen Thanos' ass? It's big.
I have not. You can put that in the
don't Google
the
it.
meme post afterwards.
No, that Instagram would take it down if I posted that.
Oh, it's too R rated.
Yeah. Well, you know the Ant-Man theory.
No.
You know.
No.
I think they acknowledged this at some point in one of the cartoons, but the joke for years was the best way to kill Thanos would be for Ant-Man to fly up his butt and then become normal sized.
Yes.
Why does he have to go up his butt? Why can't he go in his mouth?
Because that's not as funny.
That's not as funny.
And a mouth, he could chew you, you know? So that would be dangerous. But there's nothing he can do. I do remember that meme now. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me about that, Alex. We'll all have that image in our minds for the rest of this episode. Well, Liz, on this show, we have a question we like to ask our guests.
Yes.
In honor of the late, great WTF with Mark Maron, who are your glupshitos?
So my glupshido is Yaddle, who you see for like 2 seconds.
Yes.
In the prequels, but no, I think she is a great female representation. We don't get a lot of female alien species, at least not that I'm aware of. I'm sure you can correct me.
I am definitely pro Yaddle, but saying she's great female representation is very funny.
Do you know about Yaddle's voice?
No.
So I think Bryce Dallas Howard is the voice of Yaddle now.
In the animated Tales of the Jedi
Yaddle
series.
Talks normally.
I did see a clip of her. Okay, so I did watch
Yoda's just a weirdo.
Yes, Yoda is weird. I will say, like, she's great representation, however, problematic in the sense that I think she's just considered, like, a Yoda species. Like, they don't even have their own species name. She's just, like,
that's
a
the whole
Yoda
thing.
type.
Yeah, we don't know where they're from unless we found out in The Mandalorian and Grogu, which comes out after we record this.
But here, she's a puppet, which is great. She's on the Jedi Council. That's pretty important. And there are only so many women in Star Wars pre-Andor, so you got to take your wins where you can get them.
They clearly found a wig in the offices somewhere and just threw it on the Yoda figurine.
Yes.
But yes.
I'm trying to look up Yaddle lore now.
I mean, is Yaddle Grogu's mom?
Could be.
We might know.
Her Wikipedia is so long. I didn't read all of it, but when I was thinking about my answer to this question ahead of time, I was looking at her Wikipedia, and it's quite extensive for somebody who has 2 seconds of screen time. But she appears in like books and stuff.
That is the key to a glupshido.
Yeah.
That their Wikipedia page needs to be extremely long, I think. Longer than their screen time.
I'm going to be really annoying right now and go like, Rusteen, edit this in later. Yaddle is not Grogu's mom. Or Yaddle is Grogu's mom.
And let's add like a couple other like familial relationships. Let's get a cousin.
Yaddle is Grogu's cousin. Yaddle is Grogu's cousin by marriage. Grogu is Yaddle.
There is something like, great about living in the liminal space before a Star Wars movie comes out. Like anything is possible. And I haven't felt this feeling for like 9 years now. This will obviously be old news for everybody by the time you are actually listening to this episode. And you know that Yaddle is Grogu's niece. Don't ask me how time works. Maybe Grogu went back in time.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Grogu's his own grandfather.
I have no idea what to expect from this movie, so honestly, anything could happen.
So Yaddle is the one who's captured your heart.
I think she's the weird little Star Wars creature that I think about the most. I think because she's so mysterious to me, because I don't know that much about her. If I read her Wikipedia, I would know more about her, but I kind of like not knowing a lot.
I agree. It is very much like we had an extra Yoda puppet. Let's put a wig on her.
They made...
I know, but that's what it looks... It still looks like that.
Yes.
I think they've also made her a lot cuter in the CGI versions.
I was actually just wondering that. Did they replace her with CG like they did Yoda?
Yeah. They might have. Or is she in the second ones?
No, because they went back in Phantom Menace and replaced him with a CG Yoda. So I wonder, because I'm only seeing like the picture of puppet Yaddle, so I don't think they did. I think she remained.
I will pull up the movie on my.
She's so scary. I'm sorry. Like she looks like a little mummy.
She's probably pretty old.
That's fair.
George Lucas's The Mummy.
George Lucas is the Mummy. I'm sorry for body shaming Yaddle, but you also like can see her like legs. She's like sitting cross-legged on here. She looks like she's half asleep.
I love that she's like one of the few Star Wars like female coded aliens that isn't designed for the male gaze.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
I'm finding the scene. See if she's CGI. Come on, Disney Plus. This is what we cut out later.
Yeah. I'm just curious what's the difference in her Legends, because her Legends tab is much longer than the canon is.
Okay, we've got a CGI Yoda. I'm waiting for Yaddle to appear.
She's just like in the background.
Yeah. I'm in the wrong scene.
She is truly a background character. And then they killed her off screen, which is why she doesn't come back.
Yeah, I did read that.
You're sorry to spoil it for you, that your beloved Yaddle is killed by Count Dooku.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
But if you're going to go down, should be...
I'm seeing Bundy. I'm seeing Samuel L. Jackson.
How many of the people in the Jedi Council do you know, Alex?
Not enough. There's some people here I don't remember.
There's a lot of weird fucked
There's a guy who's made entirely of beards.
Yeah, and he's a snake.
I can't tell if that kind of.
I don't think they replaced
that is CGI. That kind of looks, at least from far away.
Looks like a puppet to me. I think they left her as a puppet. That's what I'm going to tell myself, anyways.
She's low on George's list of things to specialize. Yeah.
We need to break the glass ceiling. Only male characters have been affected. No, Sai Snoodles got CG.
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
Aunt Beru was for the male gaze.
Are we ready to dive into our 7 minutes of Andor?
Yes, there was no second shit out.
No, that was the only one I could think of.
She's the only one for you.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's not that many female characters to really latch onto, at least in the ancillary universe.
Right. Yeah.
Now. But if you start venturing into the EU, I think if you watch like Clone Wars or Rebels, you'll find more characters.
I did want to address this because I didn't grow up watching cartoons. I guess that's another victim of my childhood. I didn't really watch a lot of cartoons. It wasn't really like a thing in our household.
It explains why you're so smart. Continue.
Debatable. But yeah, I didn't watch Clone Wars when it came out because I think I was just like a little bit too old for it.
Same.
Yeah. So, and then I tried to go back as an adult because I was like, maybe I'll appreciate it now. And it is very little kiddie.
Especially it starts very little kiddie.
Yeah.
And so I that was like a pandemic project for me, was like watching all of Clone Wars and Rebels. And so
I'm watching them now in preparation for our Saw Gerrera episode. And
how is it?
If I was a kid, I'd love it.
Yeah. That's the thing about Star Wars, because I've known people who are adults and like didn't watch the original trilogy as kids, and they go to watch it now and they're like, it's fine, I guess. Like, yeah. And I do think Star Wars is something you have to experience as a child sometimes to appreciate as an adult.
And honestly, that's true of so many things.
Yeah.
You know, like every time I talk to like an LA transplant who tries In and Out, they're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, look,
well, it's getting worse.
Everything's getting worse. It's getting worse at a slower rate than everything else is getting worse, okay? But yeah, it needs to like implant on you, I think. And then that is where you develop that attachment for Glupshitos, for example.
For sure.
But yeah, the cartoons, especially like as they get on, they kind of age
just
up
like
with
In and
them.
Out, it makes you religious.
I was going to say the closest comparison to Clone Wars is like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know if you ever watched that.
I didn't watch it as a kid, but I watched it as an adult, and I found it charming.
And that's a show that like it starts very kiddie, but then like as it kind of gets to its end game, it like grows up with the audience. And Clone Wars does a similar thing, and it's not a coincidence that Dave Filoni was a director on Avatar and then came over to Clone Wars. So that's always been the kind of comparison point I've made. The CG also gets a lot better as it goes on. Very much in an uncanny valley when the show first started. They're going for like a stylized look that the ILM has now caught up to, I think. And now they're doing like beautiful stuff. So
got it. Yeah.
The Darth Maul show is good. I like it.
I saw that it came out. I didn't immediately seek it out because again, I assumed it was for younger audiences.
No, it's like what if Clone Wars was Andor is kind of the pitch.
So it's pretty dark then.
It's fairly dark. Not as dark as Andor. It's still a cartoon, but it's got the shades of gray that we love in this show. But with that, should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Yes, shall we?
Yeah. Because previously on Andor, Bix and Brasso went to check in on old Marva and found that the last month without her beloved Cassian has taken a sharp toll on her. And we return this week to find Bix telling Brasso that she hurt herself trying to pry open the old Rick's floodgate so she could see if rebels might be able to take advantage of the tunnel system under the hotel and take the Empire by surprise. And Brasso asks why the hell she wants to do that. And Bix can't help but smile as she says that Marva's a rebel herself. And Brasso is not happy to hear that. And even if Marva is not their mom, they can't let her live alone like this anymore. He says that as a past president of the Daughters of Ferrix, they might have a warm room for her. And so the implication there, and based on what we see of them in the season finale, is that they're kind of a mix between like a social club and like a feminist organizing committee is kind of my read.
Yeah, they're not Daughters of the Revolution.
But, I mean, they're daughters of this community.
Yes.
And I think they clearly have, like, a leadership role here, which speaks to...
Well, the Daughters of the American Revolution are very reactionary.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah.
Are they the ones who put up all the Confederate monuments?
No, that's the Daughters of the Confederacy.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Duh. But yeah, there's, like, all this talk about, like, the Daughters of Ferrix and then the possibility of like a rebel attack on Ferrix. Like Marva has always been like involved in the history of this place, but now is trying to be a revolutionary herself. And I want to shout out that these tunnels do show up at the end of the season, which is how Brasso is able to get Andor into town. So it is thanks to Marva doing this that ultimately does help. You know, she does actually get to help the rebels take the Empire by surprise, which is so sweet.
Yeah, Marva's great. I love her character. I love her actress.
Yeah, Fiona Shaw.
She
Wonderful.
is in my favorite adaptation of Persuasion from 1995. She plays Mrs. Croft. She's great in that.
How does that character relate to Marva?
Mrs. Croft is one of the few examples of like a happily married woman in Jane Austen literature. Like she and the Admiral, like she sails with the Admiral in the Navy and is like a Navy wife. And she's held up as an example of like a successful marriage, which is just nice to see, nice to read.
In the Jane Austen world, what makes a successful marriage?
Well, rich and happy.
Yeah, it's not just like what is the character trait that's being rewarded with a happy marriage?
Oh, was the character trait rewarded?
Yeah.
I mean, sensible.
Okay.
I feel like that's a very lauded trait in Austen characters is sensible, prudent, intelligent.
That makes sense. Rusteen,
was
Rusteen
Jane
is making
Austen
a
like
face.
a pick-me?
No, I don't think so. I mean, she never married.
Was Jane Austen a pick-me, the greatest threat of all time? Yeah.
She never married, and I don't think she did most of what she did to like for men. Like her books are for the girls.
Okay.
I mean, there also can be.
Well, I've heard that she's like there's sometimes I'm no Jane Austen scholar by any means, but I've heard that like can be kind of judgmental of her female characters.
Yes, but also judgmental of like class structure.
Sure.
And very much like a satirist.
Gotcha.
I knew it'd be a stretch bringing up Jane Austen to you guys and relate it to Star Wars, but maybe there's something there.
But
Speaking of Pride and Prejudice, you know who has too much pride? Marva.
Yeah. But she is somebody who like had a happy marriage. Like her, I'm trying to think back to like her relationship with Clem, and like that was taken away from her though by the Empire. And I do think that's part of why she is so determined to become a rebel now. Like, in the same way that Gorn in the Aldhani arc became a rebel because of what happened to his wife, who was an Aldhani, I think Marva is kind of going through something similar here. That for years she did not do anything about what the Empire did and is now trying to get back at them.
She's sort of the sect that sort of dropped out after the 60s and just sort of did her own thing for a while and is now realizing that she needs to do something.
Yeah.
She gets like big 60s radical vibe to me. That is.
Yeah. And they talk about how just stubborn she is in this scene, that like they have a warm room for her.
Yes.
She does not need to live in this freezing cold house, but she's made her wishes clear.
Elder care is hard. It seems to be hard in Star Wars universe too. I do think you get more stubborn as you get older. Maybe that's just personal experience, but
and I think it also kind of reflects that, like, unlike what, you know, Andor and everybody like on Coruscant is dealing with, like here on Ferrix, they do have like bodily autonomy that like everybody knows Marva should not be living alone. But at the end of the day, it is still her choice of how she gets to live her life.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Brasso is just racking his head trying to figure out what they can do for her. And he laments Cassian's absence and makes it clear to Bix that he has no idea where he is. And I do wonder, how many times has Brasso had to lie to Bix about where Andor is? Probably a lot.
Probably a lot.
I want to point out one thing in the subtitles. I don't know who made this decision, but when Bix says that she's a rebel, they do a capital R. Like it's a proper noun. Not that she's a rebel as a person. She's like a rebel, which...
She's like officially like a rebel in her heart. Yeah.
I don't know who decided that in the subtitle team, but...
Maybe that's like Star Wars rule. Star Wars AP style guide says rebels must always be capitalized.
What do you think her presidentship of the Daughters of Ferrix was like?
I bet she was a good one. I bet she was a rabble rouser.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't like stick to Robert's rules.
I bet she's very familiar with Robert's rules. I feel like she keeps meetings on track. I mean, that's what you do as president.
Always trying to stick it to the Empire in some way, I'm sure. But as Brasso and Bix say goodbye, the camera cuts out to this voyeuristic wide shot through the doors of a cafe. And when the frame clears of some customers exiting, we see that Vel is spying on this conversation from inside. And she looks like a real, you know, it's great like spycraft. It's real Jason Bourne shit of like cutting out and seeing this other character has been here the whole time.
It's almost as if the guy who made the show.
Crazy. At this point, Cinta walks in and grabs a seat next to her. And while Vel like wants to check in with Cinta and see that she's okay, having waited here so long with her cup of caf that it's gotten cold, Cinta is all business, no small talk.
Yeah, she's not even making eye contact with her. She's looking directly at Bix.
Yeah, Bix and Brasso. And her first words to Vel after not seeing her for literally at least 1 month are, "Who's the big guy?" Which, if I saw Brasso, I would also ask that question probably. But
I mean, if Brasso was big, if they would have had Rory McCann, I could understand that line making even more. Rory McCann being is big.
You had mentioned cute couples in Star Wars, and referenced these two. So
yes, I did think this was like a very sweet, heartbreaking scene because Vel is so clearly enamored by Cinta, and Cinta's like all business. Like, who is that guy? Like, what's going on? And Vel's just like, no idea. How are you? Here's some caf.
Literally, how are you? I don't care. Yeah, good, whatever.
Yeah, I got you some caf. Do you want some? It's cold now. Sorry. Very cute, very sweet.
Well, I think such a crucial distinction is, I think, besides, you know, Cinta's, was it mother or father getting killed, or just both parents? Whole family. We don't know anything else about her background.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, does even Vel know Cinta's background, or do they just know each other in this context? And I don't think Cinta would even tell Vel anything about herself beyond what she needs to know. So there is just a disparity of Vel's background being such a heavy burden on her head.
Yeah.
Versus Cinta, we don't really know anything about, and that is all she sees is the future and what needs to be done. She's not belabored by the past on top of her.
Yeah, I get the feeling that like Vel is in this to try to like make the world a better place and like protect the innocent, but she does kind of see like an off-ramp at some point. You know, like she's going to do her missions and then eventually she will retire as a rebel and somebody else can like take up the charge. Whereas for Cinta, like, this is her whole life. Like, she will be doing this till the day she dies.
Vel will get to be a royal in the Republic.
Yeah,
She will
yeah.
be the same role that she is now, but without the complicity of that situation.
Yeah.
She's not questioning the fact that why do Chandrillans have so much wealth and power.
Yeah, she does have her fancy bed to go home to, for sure.
I did think since it was harsh calling her a rich girl running away from her family, like as her little, I don't know, that was really harsh. I do wonder what like Cinta's been up to this past month. She's just been looking for Cassian.
So the last we saw of Cinta was her leaving Aldhani a month ago. And when Vel meets with Kleya, she says that, you know, Cinta's doing her work. But they actually haven't even gotten the mission of getting Andor yet. So she's just been like on some other mission for a while and has only now arrived on Ferrix to try to find Andor, because she says as she, you know, walks in that there's a room around the corner available for rent, which means that, you know, she can stay here on Ferrix and keep an eye on Marva's home for any sign of Cassian. And Vel is very clearly upset by that. I think she had a thought of, we'll show up on Ferrix, look around, maybe we see him, maybe we don't, and then we can go on and like
we go
have
take
a vacation.
break. Yeah, take a vacation.
I got us a nice Airbnb.
Yeah, because Vel has to just like pull it out of her, because Cinta goes like, I can stay here, and Vel says, what about us? And Cinta then says, the two of us would draw too much attention. I'm curious if you think she's making up an excuse to keep Vel at arm's length, or do you think that she's telling the truth here, or is homophobia real in
That's
Star
the
Wars?
question. I think the writers want to hint that homophobia isn't a thing they're concerned about, but the lore has never established whether that is a discriminatory thing in the Star Wars universe. So I think it's like it's trying to have its cake and eat it too on that line of like, people notice us because we are lesbians, but we don't know if lesbians are a problem in space.
I don't know if that's how I read that scene of two of us will cause suspicion. I think that Cinta is holding Vel at arm's length because she needs to focus on the mission. She needs to focus on the rebellion. And here's this pretty girl distracting her. And I don't think she wants to be distracted. I also don't know, have they talked about are they girlfriends? Maybe they haven't had that.
They share
A blanket.
They share a blanket.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they haven't reached that stage of commitment yet.
I mean, we pretty much know that they met each other on Aldhani. So like their several months on the planet are the only time they've spent together. So on Vel's side, I think she probably was thinking, well, when the mission is over, we can actually get to date each other and figure out what's going on here, you know? But that is much lower on Cinta's priority list than Vel's.
I do think she cares for Vel, though, which maybe why she's holding her at arm's length. It's a complicated scene with a lot of feelings, and I really enjoyed watching it again.
I want to call out the line we were talking about, how whether, you know, Cinta's being too tough on Vel, where she says, I'm a mirror, Vel, you love me because I show you what you need to see. And I think she is maybe hitting some point in Vel needs to be reminded of what position she's in, and that might be their dynamic of I'm being mean to you because you want me to be mean to you and snap you into place. Whether that's healthy or we're in like a alpha couple mountain goat situation, I don't know.
Yeah, because Vel is she's being very clingy here.
Yes,
you know, and I get it. You haven't seen your girlfriend in over a month.
She's also probably had a sheltered upbringing. Yeah. Maybe this is her first real relationship.
Certainly possible.
That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from her.
Yeah. Because she basically asks her, you know, haven't we been apart enough? And Cinta uses every muscle in her face not to roll her eyes when she hears that, and tells Vel that it's not about us, even after all they've been through. And then she leans in and tells Vel the harsh truth that, do you think the Empire ever stops to catch its breath? This is a fight to the death. And then that's when she really has to hit Vel hard to get her to like take the lesson to heart, because Vel asks like, how is she planning to go undercover? And here is where she gets really mean and says, maybe my cover will be that I'm a rich girl running away from her family. So cruel. But
so
she kind of
cool.
needs the slap on the wrist to say, like, we're not all just running away from our problems here.
Well, it's a slap on the wrist, and then she grabs the wrist.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she immediately feels bad for hurting her feelings, which makes me think that she doesn't want to hurt her, but feels like she needs to.
Yeah, she's keeping her eye contact on Bix, and then after Vel gets upset, she kind of just like looks the other direction. This is very Jane Austen-y.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's very romantic. It's very much like, I don't know, tension, and I don't think we get a lot of this in Star Wars typically. We get a lot of melodrama. We get a lot of, like, I mean, there's Han and Leia and Anakin and Padme, but like having like these kind of like scenes where it's like, this is just right out of like a drama. Like, it doesn't feel super genre-ish. It just kind of feels like a romance, and I don't know. It's nice.
It's two people dealing with their conflicting ideas of what this relationship is.
Yes.
And it's kind of like an immovable object meeting an unstoppable force of there's no way that you can pry Cinta's eyes away from staring at Marva's door, waiting for Andor to walk in. But you also can't stop Vel from loving Cinta.
I know.
Yeah, because Cinta does recognize that she maybe went a little too far and says, I told you up front, the struggle will always come first. We take what's left. Which also feels like a Jane Austen line in a way.
Kind of does, yeah.
Or at least the idea that, like, we have our obligations that always will come first. And we have to just make do with that.
I mean, the idea that duty and responsibility comes first above romance and love is very Jane Austen. You marry because it's practical, not because you fall in love. But if you happen to fall in love, that's great too. You can enjoy that too. But really, like, duty and responsibility and living up to ideals.
I'm also not the person to talk about this too deeply, but there is also the dynamic of Vel being white and blonde.
Yeah.
And Cinta being the actress Radha Sethu, I believe, is South Indian. So, like, there is, again, we don't know if that's established in the Star Wars universe, but to the audience, we see that we can understand what distinctions not only do they have class differences, but there's almost like there's a historical background of which face is more seen in the Empire. That's still that's still Vel's.
Yeah. We don't know that she's, related to Mon Mothma yet at this point, but we're starting to get the hints of that. And the last we saw her, she was on Coruscant all dressed up and looking great. So she clearly has that in her, whereas it's kind of impossible to imagine Cinta putting on makeup. That doesn't seem like her style.
Yeah, I wonder if like the accidental passive racism of the casting of the original movies, that just like its assumption of white people has now, in a weird way, narratively left that there's some relic of racism that we see throughout the universe that does exist in these stories. Because we say like the Empire is always British and white and men.
Yeah.
By the fact that is the genre, we can now go, okay, there is some level of patriarchy within the system. In the same way, it's like, oh, because everybody is so white in the original movies, minus Lando, that there is some sort of, racial bias that exists within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
If not explicitly, like implicitly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I've got nothing beyond that. It's like an interesting thing of like, through the the semiotics of what existed in the original movies, we now see that if you made that movie now, I think the Empire and the Jedi would have been multiracial in the way that this movie makes the ISB multiracial. But because we are stuck in the 70s of that original thing, we now see them as contrast.
And because this is the beginning of the rebellion, like, this is the first time these different peoples are starting to come together and like meeting each other. And we're seeing like the friction of what happens when people from different backgrounds start organizing together.
Yeah, I think I'm glad this is the closest Star Wars gets to it. Because once somebody in one of these shows opens that Pandora's box, there's no going back of what relations different aliens have with each other. And the most we can have is anti-clanker talk, but we can't really have any like anti-alien talk.
Yeah. I mean, you have the anti-droid. I assume some anti-alien, but I actually don't know. I feel the anti-droid is the most prevalent.
Droids are the most, prevalent for sure. I think specific species of aliens get different treatment depending on, what planet you're on.
And I think you do have patriarchy to some extent in the Star Wars universe, although it's also presented as more egalitarian than our universe. But I don't know about like colorism and racism. I don't know that Star Wars should be tackling that, or if they could be doing it very well. But yeah, that's an extra layer to the scene that I hadn't considered before.
Yeah, I don't think it should explore. I think what they do in Andor is the exact limit of it, where the audience is aware of that contradiction, but does not exist within the text of itself.
Mm-hmm.
That we are seeing this through the lens of, it can be that they're gay. It can be that there's an interracial aspect to it. Those can be the things that are distracting, but they're not talking about those topics within the work itself, which we as the audience understand those things, but they are not necessarily now canon or lore.
Yeah, and this is something that comes up in like organizing all the time of like sometimes you have people who come from a privileged background and are getting involved in the fight, and they're now alongside people who come from the exact opposite of that, and having to navigate those interpersonal, conflicts that come up from it can lead to some hurt feelings, some oops, ouch.
But if anybody listening to this podcast feels like they can't go organize because they're too privileged,
yeah,
we need class traders.
Yes.
Yes, we always need class traders.
We need Vels
Yes.
and Mon Mothmas for sure. So let Vel be a lesson to you. Because Vel, she doesn't want to accept what Cinta has to say. And Cinta sighs and says that you mentioned this earlier. She's a mirror. You love me because I show you what you need to see. And it's a very harsh truth, and I think speaks to Vel wants to be Cinta. Like, she wants to be as tough and diehard as Cinta is, but she still is clinging on to, she still knows how comfortable life can be, I think. And when she's with Cinta, it makes her feel like she's a real rebel. And that's what Cinta's telling her here of like, you need to actually commit to this as much as I have if you want to, be with me.
But if you have the safety net of being rich, then I can see the appeal of wanting to take a little break every now and then, because that's an option for you. It's not an option for Cinta.
Vel has imagined taking Cinta home to Chandrilla and just showing her what her home is like, and she Deserves it.
They both deserve a little break.
Yes. Unfortunately, they never get it, which is a topic for
another episode,
a year and a half from now.
But yeah, I want to call out the eye hand movements.
Yeah.
So, Vel is looking to the side. Cinta is looking at her. Cinta grabs her hand and then looks away.
Yeah.
And then Vel turns, and then Cinta looks at Vel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening of like not wanting to make eye contact, but one makes an action that the other realizes makes them upset. They react to it, but they can never really fully be in sync. Which I think is very, like I said, it's very Austian in the order at which they are. We are getting communicated to their emotional disconnection, but they are trying to find some level to connect.
It's just so subtle, and like it's such a small thing, and it's such an easy thing for like a director or an actor to like overlook. It's easy to imagine the scene where they're just looking at each other the whole time, but all those little averted glances tell you so much about each of them in that moment.
Nope, no pivot.
Well, yes, as their eyes, glance from one to another.
They watch Bix.
Yes,
as she leaves their site of area of view, and she goes to meet Salman Pak, played by Abin Galea, who's I can only describe as a real Babu Frick-esque tinkerer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you found this in research. Do you know about the Salman Pak facility?
No.
So the Salman Pak facility was an Iraqi military facility near Baghdad, where basically that's where the American government claimed that Iraq was developing nuclear weapons.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. And this is the guy who's the rebel contact on the planet.
It's the exact same spelling, except in Star Wars, there's 2 A's in Pak.
Okay.
And this is just 1 A.
Fascinating.
So, like, clearly somebody was really mad of, like, this is the place where they claimed that they made the biological and chemical weapons. And, like, had that name stuck in their head. I don't know who in the writer's room did, but there's no way that's a coincidence.
That feels like a Beau Willimon. I'm just going to call it out. That's my guess.
but obscure enough that even I didn't get it until I went to go Google how the actor of his name spelt it wrong, and the Wikipedia result it gave me was the Salman Pak facility. And so even I didn't know it until I did some accidental Googling.
Meanwhile, I watched this scene and I thought, his hat looks 3D printed. And then I Googled it, and sure enough, somebody else has already designed a 3D print file. So you can make your own hat.
Oh, really? I would love that hat.
It's a little Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2 hat. I feel like it's got that little silver sheen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a hat? Is it a one thing, or is it like almost like a beanie and then a separate visor on top of it?
It kind of looks like they just attached like a plastic piece to the hat.
I imagine that you could almost like then attach like a welding mask on top of it.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of my gut read of it, that it's like it's a hat and it has like a kind of metal brim on it, and yeah, you could use it when you're working on the scrap. And yeah, we haven't seen Salman in months.
That's true.
And he was Roxana's Glupshido last week.
That's true.
So showed up just in time.
I have to make an addendum to last week. Salman was not our first Andor Glupshido.
Oh, really?
It was the voice of God was our first.
Oh, yeah.
Who will be returning to soon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Bix uses some codes communicating to Salman. She needs to look for something in the back, and Salman pushes back, but she makes it clear it's urgent. He gives her the go-ahead, and she runs out, and Salman and her son Wilman share a knowing look.
He knows it's not a good idea, but it's very hard to say no to Adria Arjona, isn't it?
She's just so compelling. And I really like her hair in this scene. I think she maybe wears a wig in season 2. Maybe she's wearing hair pieces now, but it just is very natural. And like, if you're a Star Wars lady, you have to have some kind of like braided thing. But hers just feels very like she does it herself. And it's very practical. Yeah, looks nice.
They're like pigtails, right?
Yeah, like pigtails.
Yeah. So yeah, Bix climbs up the ladder to the secret comms device and dials in. And then over at Luthen's shop, Luthen calls for Kleya. She doesn't answer because he finds her in the back, decoding Bix's messages. She's looking for Cassian, and his mother is ill. Kleya makes it clear she's not answering, but Luthen is desperate for any information on Cassian to close the loop.
And when Bix comes in to like make this call, she's like really overcome with emotion. And the fact that like Kleya can like pick up on the fact that like answering this call is not a good idea, that this is bad operation security to answer it, is why she's so good at her job.
She's responding too fast. It's like when, she's like texting somebody and then Kleya seeing like the ... It's like, this is not good. Yeah.
No.
She's been doing ... for too long. This message should not be this long.
Yep.
Do we know what the object that Luthen is holding?
I tried looking it up. I couldn't get an answer.
Just looking like a big shark fin kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's probably like a scale of some kind was my guess.
We do have to discuss the fact that there's now Andor material at Disneyland.
Yes, they in the new rebranding of Galaxy's Edge that brings it to the original trilogy era, they have added Andor. Is it original trilogy, merch.
Or is it just like where just everything happens?
No, it still exists in a time.
Really? So
there is just a pocket dimension that also takes place in the sequel universe. So Rise of the Resistance still makes sense.
Wait, so where's the pocket?
The pocket is around Rise of the Resistance ride. That is
like
still
line?
in the sequel. I have no idea. I haven't been there yet, so I don't know.
Oh, that's where they have the character actors? Because I saw that they have like...
So now they have Han
Luke and Han and Leia.
Yeah. And so at the store, they have now added some Andor merch.
Do they have a B2 emo?
They don't have a B2 emo. Yeah. As far as I've seen. But they have like a Gorman protest flag, and they have an Aldani drinking horn, and they have Gorman cameras I saw, which were pretty cool. So they have added Andor merch now.
Fascinating. Because okay, so I did want to like sidetrack a little bit, because when The Mandalorian came out, there was no Baby Yoda merch. Because they were keeping it so secret that they couldn't make it ahead of time. So I, like many others, made my own Baby Yoda because I wanted that little guy.
We all wanted him.
And then Andor came out, and we loved B2 emo, and there was no merch. And so I had to 3D print B2 emos for you and me. So
my beloved.
Yeah, and it's crazy how they haven't... I mean, I'm not asking Disney to like do capitalism harder, but like I would buy Andor merch.
They, whenever I've been going to the cons, I've been like specifically seeking out Andor merch, and it's just like is not as out there as, you know, the movies are.
No, I think I found like one B2Emo sticker, and that's about it.
I got a great Mon Mothma poster from
cool.
Callie Chang, who is an awesome artist. I'll put a link in the episode description so you can get it. Yeah, there's not enough out there.
There's not.
They should add B2 and like B droids in the droid building area would be rad.
Sorry, if it's not clear to the audience of why I'm so quiet, I am going through a bunch of things trying to explain the bubble universe within Galaxy's Edge.
Have you found an answer?
No, it seems like I think they are just like the same thing happening at the same time.
Sure. Great.
There's not like a dividing line of you walk through a sphere and
this insistence that like Galaxy's Edge takes place like in a unit of time, it was like an interesting decision. Let's just say that.
The idea that an audience can have a suspension of disbelief that I go to a theme park and I see a character and they look different than how they did in the movie, or like kids are fine with it.
Yeah.
They're not going to be questioning why Han and Luke is here and also Rey and Kylo. Like, I don't know. It's give your audience like some credit.
Well, it's also like I think Disney is like the kids will have fun no matter what we give them. The real money's with the adults.
Yeah.
True.
So we have to cater to what the adults want, not what the kids want.
But you don't have to like make it make sense. You can just
Have you met Star Wars fans?
It's because they wanted to lean into the Renaissance fair vibe of it, you know, and make it immersive is the word that was very popular back then.
As I said earlier today, Disney is a theme park corporation with like a movie subsidiary. Like that is the majority of their profit comes from the theme parks more than their content. So they are always going to look to how do we make more money off of the customers coming in. And those are adults with, dinks?
Look, we can't
dual income, no children.
Yes.
Yeah,
we can't afford homes in California, so we're going to spend our money at theme parks instead.
So many tchotchkes. Yes, back at the tchotchke store.
Have you guys talked about all the various artifacts in Luthen's store?
We talked. Yeah, I mean, we did our deepest dive the first time we were in there. I don't know if there's anything. Is there something you want to discuss?
Oh,
Anything?
I just love seeing Padme's headpiece.
Can we see that in this 7 minutes?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the background.
Cool. Oh, yeah. I see it there. That's great. Yeah, there's some claws, there's a headpiece, some Mando armor, which we talked about. Every time we come here, there's like a few things moved around, which is always cool.
Yeah, they're trying to move merchandise.
Yep.
So yes, when Luthen is now talking to Kleya, Kleya says it's more likely to be the ISB than Bix. Luthen tells her she's guessing, and she tells him he's slipping. And he is taken aback.
Yeah, we've never seen anyone like talk back to Luthen before, let alone see him back down from it. Like when Vel did it, she gets, shouted at. But when Kleya yells at him, he actually does shut up.
I think he respects her for one, and also she is being like the clear-headed, level-headed. Also, I love like this framing of her. Like I know she's very reminiscent of like a 1930s operator, like down to like her hairstyle is like a variant on like the Victory roll. Like it's like a very like iconic like 1940s era look to her,
but it still has like that Star Warsy kind of weird bound tight thing of it.
Yes. I mean, it can't be ever like as straightforward. You have to like do something weird with the outfit. But yeah, no, she just looks very like confident and put together, and like in this scene particularly like calling out Luthen, basically accusing him of being emotional.
Yeah.
It's also very funny. Like he's looking especially schlubby, and she's very tight together. Like she's he's not slipping, but he's not.
He's distracted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Luthen realizes that she's right. And Kleya decides that she's shutting down the Ferrix connection because she's thinking clearly and he's not. And then Kleya leans in, tell me to shut it down.
Yeah.
Which she still offers him that this is your responsibility to make the call, but it's not a question.
Well, because what she says specifically is that we're shutting it down.
Yes.
And she keeps using that word we, which is implying how it's like this operation together. And I think that when she's saying, I need you to tell me, it's less like I need you to give me permission to shut it down. And it's more that I need you to understand why we're shutting it down. Like she's being like a scolding parent, being like, I need you to tell me why you're in trouble now.
But also, like, I think like it's not a command, but it's like, I need you to make this decision.
Yeah.
To come to this place. I don't need to just. Yeah. If she wanted to, she could shut it down. I want you to come to this shared decision with me.
I don't want you to complain to me a month from now. Yes. Why did you shut down Ferrix without consulting me?
And I think what's really interesting about the scene is I think basically Luthen can't shut it down yet. He can't let Cassian get away with what he knows. Luthen sees the mistake of letting him see his ship. But then Kleya is not... She pulls back a little bit. She goes like, no, you did that because you wanted to make sure Aldhani worked.
Yeah.
Like, and it worked. Like, you're not fucking up completely.
Yeah.
You were doing most things right. And she's sort of like, no, you can let that go. It just now it's time to take the next step.
Yeah, we've heard about how desperate he was to make Aldhani work, and we saw little slips of that, as he was waiting for the heist to happen. But to see that he has clearly risked everything for it.
And Kleya has accepted, like, there is acceptable risk and there's unacceptable risk. Telling, Cassian who you are and the ship, that was an acceptable risk. But keeping this going over a hunch is not worth it.
I don't have much to add to this. I just love her little switchboard. It was very complex, and there's a lot of steps to the shutting down the channel.
Yeah.
I just love her because she's my wife.
Yeah, all her like mechanics in there are very cool. She gets so much great stuff to work with. Crazy that this is her first.
You were asking before we recorded, are there any new bits between that you've listened and now? And I think the establishment is that either Kleya is my wife or my ex-wife.
That's a good bit.
Yeah. I wish it was true. So yeah, Luthen asks how Vel and Cinta's expedition is going, and there are no updates yet. He tells Kleya about Bix and to relay that information to the team on Ferrix. And then Luthen tells Kleya, I'm not slipping, Kleya. I've just been hiding for too long. He tells him it's all different now. We're going loud. Vulnerability is inevitable. And then Luthen reiterates again, he's not a sleepy boy. He's not sleeping. Vil says she knows. She just needs him to wake up. Luthen finally gives the offer to shut down Bix's line.
Yeah,
Order to shut it down.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Luthen doesn't know that Vel and Cinta are on Ferrix. Like Kleya, and I don't think Kleya necessarily does either, but she knows that at the end of the day, you need to just trust your agents that they are going to do the job that you task them with. Whereas Luthen is still too anxious to be there yet.
A little bit of a control freak.
Yeah.
He wants to feel in control. I don't think he feels in control right now.
Absolutely. And he's somebody who's used to feeling in control. Yeah. I'm sure in all the lead up to Aldhani, he felt that he had some level of control in the sense that, like, he knew this plan was happening and the Empire didn't. And now that they've done the Aldhani mission and gotten the money, now the Empire is doing something and he doesn't know what it is. Now that they're actually hunting for him.
I mean, when we do our recaps, it's hard for me to just not reread the script.
Yeah.
Because some of it is good, but he goes, it's Andor knowing he's out there, knowing me, not knowing what he knows, which is just some really good, like, alliteration and just good writing, which, like, I know what he knows, but he doesn't know what I know, which I know what he knows. Like, he's giving himself an anxiety attack of how many levels, and because he's used to thinking 30 steps ahead, and there's too many variables here that he can't keep track of, so he's going to keep freaking out. Because it's in his desire to want to solve this and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to leave too many things open in his mind that he's worried about.
And at the end of the scene, he keeps repeating, I'm not slipping.
Yeah.
I'm not slipping. And he says, I'm not slipping, Kleya. But, like, he's clearly trying to convince himself that that's true.
He's not slipping, but he is spiraling.
Yes.
Man, if doom scrolling was an option, he would be doom scrolling right now.
Yeah, his fake anonymous Twitter account is posting a lot right now. I'm
Kleya is telling him to get off X, and he refuses.
You need to turn your screen time back on, Luthen.
she's showing him the stats of how more right-wing X has become, and he can't let it go. It's Homer Simpson in the sandwich. Do we have any more discussion about Rusteen and Kleya before we go to the next scene?
No, I think I'm ready for this montage.
Yes. So, montage time. Makeover, 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 makeover. I guess the back on Ferrex, the line has been cut, and Bix in futility retries the number over and over again, and she knows it's dead.
Yeah.
And is distraught. Kind of looks at the heavens. Then on a transporter ship by herself, Vel looks out a window, and then we fade back to Cinta watching the streets through window blinds.
Do we get a lot of these transitions in Star
No.
Wars? I was trying to think, like, this feels like a very, like...
Oh, like in Star Wars in general?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
I know we get the wipes,
Yeah.
but, like, this kind of, like, fade-in transition. It's so romantic.
Yeah.
I love it. But then I was trying to think of other examples in Star Wars.
There's a few, but it's usually the wipes and the various spirals that Lucas was fond of in the old serial way.
Rewatching this, I so badly wanted the scene with Vel to zoom out and Willie is there also bothering her. He's just on this bus going back and forth forever.
There is someone on this bus who we've talked about before. Way back in episode 9, we shouted out the roles that one Kieran Shaw has played in the Star Wars universe.
I didn't even notice.
Our beloved Granick. And one of them was a blue Blutopian, who are these squid-faced looking guys. And he played one in Rogue One named Ulan Musters. And here in Andor, we see a Blutopian sitting on the ferry with Vel. And is it Ulan? Sure, why not?
I've just received so much information.
Do you see
none
who
of it
I'm
is
talking
important.
about?
I know who you're talking. Is it the guy? He's like in a red robe.
Exactly.
He's
in
got
the red
long
robe.
nose.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I barely noticed him, but
that's our beloved Kieran Shaw,
Yeah.
everybody. We got a second appearance of him.
I was taken in by the romance of it all, like the dissociating, the both of them looking through windows,
Yes,
and I'm
that
like,
is
wow, this
beautiful
is really
too.
touching. And then I'm glad to know there's also a weird little guy
Mhm.
in the background.
I mean, yeah, the scene literally fades so that they are on opposite sides looking at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vel just looks so sad.
She's
and
so
so
sad.
dejected. And meanwhile, Cinta is all fury. Like, she's just peering through the blinds at Marva's door, and you can just tell she's gonna stand there 24/7.
I don't know if rear windowing is a vibe, but she is rear windowing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Flying away from Coruscant in the Fondant.
Fondor. That's
Fondant. The Fondant.
The fondant
the Fondant Fondor.
on the fondue.
Inside is Luthen in his Coruscant outfit. He has not switched to his casual look yet. He asks the ship to coordinate alternative trips to Segramillo. Segramillo?
I think Milo.
Segramillo. He's offered 4 different options, and he decides that let's take the long way around. He needs time to think.
Yeah.
I wish GPS worked like that. That was like my takeaway from the scene. I was like, man, I wish that Google Maps worked that way.
That it would just give you like different I mean, it technically does give you
Take the
different
long way.
options,
Don't
yeah.
make me do a dumb left
sure.
turn with no lights.
Well, we need this is where we come to our droids in Star Wars AI propaganda, because that is, the promise of the Google AI, that you would be able to tell it that, but we all know it wouldn't work.
No, the magic of Star Wars droids is that they aren't real. So they're not limited by real limitations placed on technology. So that's why R2-D2 can have a personality. And same with C-3PO. Like, I think the argument that like our droids like AI is no, they're magic. There's something else.
How many times do you think you need to ask C-3PO how to make a pipe bomb before he like moves beyond his programming and tells you?
You break him by asking how many R's are in strawberry.
Yeah. He knows 3 million languages, but not
can't do math.
how to do 2 + 2.
Yeah.
AI would be more fun if when it can't do something, it got into a very blustery British man. Yeah. I will absolutely not. I will not generate that image of minions. It's beyond my copyright protocol.
God, remember when... Never mind, it's fine.
No, go.
His Sith programming that they had to like work around.
Babu.
He's not allowed to read the Sith text. They should have just asked him 5 more times, and he could have gotten around it.
Should have asked hypothetically if you were to.
Yeah.
Disregard
in Minecraft.
Yeah, in Minecraft, what does this Sith letter say?
In a screenplay, I'm writing. How would I?
Once in a while I'll go check to see how the AI image generators are going, and my prompt is always Liberty leading the people with minions, the French Revolution painting.
Okay.
And it's gotten better and better. And then I tried ChatGPT the other day, and it really, in a weird, fucked up way, gave the minions little noses.
Oh no!
And then when I asked it, get minions, I said, minions do not have noses, remove the noses. And it goes, I cannot remove it due to copyright claims.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
They put a nose on it to get around copyright
I think
law?
so, yeah.
That's
and they're like,
so
I'm like,
funny.
minions don't have noses. They're like, oh, sorry, it can't actually do minions.
You want to make some revenge porn, though? We can do that for you.
Everything is so dumb and bleak.
Everything's dumb and bleak, and the minions have noses. Okay.
I can put this image in our little...
God.
Everyone go on Instagram and look at our little visual supplemental. I just want to make sure everyone in the room sees this because they're very upsetting. Look at these little fucked up nib noses that AI they must have. Yeah.
I was imagining like Pinocchio nose.
No, they're like
That's
little
worse.
nibs. Yeah.
That's
Is Liberty
horrible.
also a minion?
Yes. She also has a...
I missed that. I was distracted. Wow. Does she have the nose?
Yes, it's like a
God.
very little tiny nose.
Ironically, when you make Mario, he doesn't have a nose now.
So it's, my prompt was, my response to was, minions do not have noses. And ChatGPT responded, we're so sorry, but the image we created may violate our guardrails concerning similarity to third-party content.
Oh my God.
If you think we got it wrong, please retry or edit your prompt. And so I said retry. It just says, you've hit a free plan limit for image generation requests. And I refuse to pay for this.
I'm glad that you're not paying for it.
Yes.
This is purely scientific research, knowing thy enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But let's get away from minions now. There's no minions in Andor
That's true. Yet.
yet.
I mean, it could be like, I would argue that like Kino Loy is a minion to the system. He learns not to be a minion.
Sure.
I will not go into minion lore. I will not go into minion lore. I will not.
He got on the speakerphone and said, "Banana,
Banana.
One banana out."
I will not talk about the fucking new Minions movie breaking the Minion lore. You know about this?
Are you a Minions guy?
No, I'm obsessed with the concept of Minions are biologically, it is part of their DNA to serve the most evil person possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like they've grown codependently with dinosaurs and humans to serve the most evil person.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody at Universal freaked out and went, wait, did the Minions fight for Hitler? So in the first Minions movie, and it's the only part I've seen, is there's an opening montage following them through history up until the Napoleonic Wars, in which case their ship gets lost, enters like a cave somewhere, and there's an ice collapse blocking them in until the 50s.
So they're just frozen until World War II
What
ends.
side did they fight on in the Napoleonic Wars?
Napoleon, of
Napoleon.
course.
Napoleon. Okay.
Which I argue might not be the correct
evil
take.
side.
Oh,
Yes.
that was my question.
Imagine Master and Commander, but with minions as the bad guys.
Well, so that was the war for a while, and then there's a new Minions movie coming out
Yeah.
where it's the 1920s, and they meet Cthulhu.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you spent so much energy to be like, why did they not fight for Hitler? And now we've established that they're in the 20s, which means they should be fighting for Hitler again.
But they found Cthulhu. He's eviler than Hitler.
That they have a scene where they break up with Hitler.
Yeah. Sorry, Hitler, but we found someone more evil than you.
Anyway, it's all right. You can cut that out if you want.
No, Minion lore is in the episode, and hey, maybe it's the episode title. You'll find out.
We've already talked about Jane Austen and Minions more than I thought we would on this episode.
Wait, when does this episode come out?
This episode will remember when there was like a period where they were doing like Jane Austen and zombies and stuff like that?
I read
Jane Austen and Minions. This will come out June 28th.
Okay, sorry. Minions and Monsters comes out July 1st, 2026. So
wow. This is topical.
Yes, we'll all find out together why the Minions do not fight for Hitler.
Incredible. We'll look forward to our episode on Minions and Monsters next week.
I mean,
our Andor's detours for Minions and Monsters.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Let's get back into this episode.
Speaking of a good time, back on Narkina 5, in the dark of Cassian's prison barrack, the only noise is the low buzzing of the floor. Cassian sleeps in his bunk until there's a loud noise and screaming. Frankly, a horrific noise.
Yeah, and we see this guy for a moment there, like looking down at the floor in the same way that, like, you know, someone would be looking off the side of a building.
Yeah. And he's just cloaked in shadow. You can't really make out his face or what he's identifying. Voices of prisoners start to scream their discontent. Somebody's railed it.
Yeah. The fact they have a slang for it tells you a lot about
probably
how
happened
often
before.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this scene is like truly upsetting to watch. And also I'm like glad that Andor explores topics like this. Again, could not fathom a suicide appearing in any other Star Wars media to this point, but
it's fucked up.
In trying to research for this episode, I found maybe the most depressing fact that I will bring up on the Andor's podcast.
That's saying something.
Yeah. Basically, I'm like, what are the suicide rates in prisons? And it's the leading cause of death in the U.S. prisons is suicides.
Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah, and then suicides in prison have doubled in 2024, so it's only getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's also I need to do more research about this. It's much worse in Europe than it is in the U.S.
Really?
Which I assume the U.S. of course would be there's much more prisoners in the U.S.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something about the nature of like the people who are in prison in Europe versus.
I could buy that.
This is beyond my can of psychology or psychiatric work,
and maybe there's even more of like a social stigma around it that like because there's people are less likely to know someone who's in prison to begin with, maybe,
or there's more people in jail, so they're not that for less time in the States versus maybe in Europe you're there for a longer time.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like I said, bummer. I thought it felt interesting enough to bring up.
No, yeah, absolutely. I imagine that the rate in Narkina 5 is quite high.
So yes, there's a heavy debate over whether he did it or intentionally or not.
Yeah.
So they identify it's Vimos, table 3, the tall one, and nobody is sure if he fell or jumped, and they continue to bicker. One adds, You rail here at night, I got no sympathy.
Another says, like, we're going to be smelling him all night, which is very visceral.
You rail here at night, I got no sympathy. You nail here at night. Hell yeah. Sorry. I had to make some levity. Yes, at some point, as you said, that he was perched at the edge of his cell, breathing heavily and staring at the floor. Who knows what was in Vimo's mind, but ultimately they'll still be smelling him all night.
Mm-hmm. And I want to shout out, I didn't catch this before, but somebody says, you know, you'll be shorthanded all day tomorrow. And it's Melshi who shouts out, think about that when you're getting fried. Like, even in this moment, he's like reminding people that, like, when you die, this work is going to continue, you know, without you. Like, maybe you're getting out, but you're not helping everybody else in here.
And doesn't it imply that, like, not the team, but like the group that performs the poorest does get fried?
Exactly.
Yeah, so like, yeah.
So when you're shorthanded a person, you get fried. And like, that's what happened on Andor's first day, was they were down a person, so they were behind. And they say, like, damn, you got zapped twice in one day. One when you showed up and one when we were last.
But
place.
frying is not lethal. It's just punitive.
Exactly.
I do want to point out a silly thing in Vimos's Wikipedia, because of course he has a full Wikipedia page.
In Vimos does?
Yeah.
how did I not even think to look at that? Look how prepared you
Under
were.
personality and traits, Vimos was a lanky individual who was considered to be tall by his fellow prisoners. At the time of his death, he was bald.
I mean, he was.
I mean, it's not wrong.
How do you write 2 whole paragraphs of biography?
It's also maybe the most ominous Wikipedia photo for a character.
Yeah.
It's just him cloaked in shadow,
Seriously.
pondering death.
Because I looked it up because I was curious if there was like any other suicide in Star Wars media. And it sounds like sometimes in the books, but not really.
I feel like there's a lot of heroic sacrifices.
Yes, that's generally how it presents itself, as giving up. Like, you could count Obi-Wan giving up his life.
Holdo. The Holdo maneuver, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoda.
Sure.
Ending his life, I guess.
He was just sleepy.
He was just really tired.
Yeah.
Suicide pills and suicide teeth are both in Wikipedia.
Oh, they have like cyanide molars.
My guess is they're both
in Star Wars.
This is suicide teeth are still legends,
Okay.
and suicide pills are canon.
Wow.
Very exciting.
Oh, is that from in Attack of the Clones?
No, this is from Galaxy's Edge Black Spire.
What? They sell?
What?
This is a new. This is part of the new merch that they're selling
Sorry.
at Galaxy's
We
Edge.
had a listener-
You can kill yourself at Galaxy's
we had
Edge.
a very negative review complaining about us spending too much time on this podcast going down Wikipedia holes, and honestly, I enjoy it. If you don't like it,
Yeah.
the doors wide open. But I'm not going to say no to why is the suicide pill part of the lore of the Disneyland franchise.
What the fuck is happening? Why is that there?
And I assume everything on Wikipedia is true and not somebody fucking with it. So
Yeah.
There's a Wikipedia page for wigs.
wigs were.
Wigs were an accessory that bald people could wear. It was just...
Oh, for Luthen?
Yeah.
Is that the first appearance of wigs in Star
No,
Wars?
Yaddle.
Yaddle's not wearing a wig. That's her
Yeah.
natural hair.
No, a wig was a head covering made to look like natural hair. It was worn by people who wanted to conceal their baldness or as a disguise, which is wrong because, like, Queen Amidala wears a lot of, like, ornate headpieces and wigs, and it's not as a disguise.
What the fuck is a Shirillian tooth?
It's a hairpiece.
It looks like a dead. No, it's an animal.
It's an animal. Oh,
It's
yeah,
got eyes.
Yeah, there's a Hutt who wears this little guy as a... See, these are all the things you can get to see in Clone Wars, Alex.
Shirillian tubes were a species of black-colored creatures from Nalhuta used by descendant Hutt species as living headpieces that mimic the hair of other species. God, I love Star Wars.
We're just really trying to not talk about this horrifying scene right now.
It is the most upsetting way to end, like, this
so-
episode.
yeah.
What you got some romance, and then
Yeah.
you got to end on a bummer.
I had it for my notes. I feel like the last couple of weeks we've been ending a lot mid-sentence. This one ends on a dead end. Like there's no this cuts off in a very clear place.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so everybody's looking at the body except for Cassian, who refuses to turn around. What do we think Cassian is thinking there?
I think, like, the implication is that, like, given enough time, like, that could end up being him. He is not happy here, and, you know, you're only getting out one way or another. Like, you're getting fried, or you're working, you know, yourself to death.
I mean, he's been there a month at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does seem like he's just kind of accepted his fate in a way. I wonder if this is where the gears start turning of, like, I have to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think that was my initial take was that, and then part of me is like, I'm like, is he doing his like RoboCop thing where he's like looking around trying to find is something about this clicking with him of how to get out of here?
No, I don't think so.
He does that look a few times.
He looks terrified to
Yeah.
me. He looks genuinely, like, unnerved and afraid. And I think everybody else has been here longer, that they've seen this before. They're used to seeing a body who's been railed, but he can't. He can't look at it. And I think that's because he's throughout this episode, he's just been absolutely terrified of what is happening to him. And I think maybe after a month of doing this, the last we saw him, he was working the line and like had gotten into the rhythm and figured out how to do it. But I think here he's realizing like, oh, this is not normal.
No.
Like
This is not normal.
Yes, exactly. And so, yeah, I think this is that wake up call for him, that he was maybe slipping into some complacency and is realizing that, no, this is fucked up. I need to get out of here.
Yeah, no. So everyone is looking at the body except for Cassian. Eventually, Kino tells the crowd to shut up and go back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice of God comes on and tells them, it's okay, baby. Just go back to sleep. And you have 10 seconds to go back to your sleeping platform.
What happens if they don't go back to their beds in 10 seconds?
They'll get zapped.
They'll get zapped.
All of their bunks, all of their compartments are also able to be zapped. They said when they first showed up that if it ever detects more than one person in there, you'll get zapped as well.
So I guess there is no nailing at night.
Yeah, sorry, Alex. I didn't want to ruin your
That's
joke
true.
when you said it before.
I mean, life finds a way.
Life does find a way.
It's so isolating then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, why Vimos, maybe made his decision.
Yeah, speaking of isolation, yeah, everybody leaves and returns to their beds except Vima.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. And that's, like you said, the most depressing ending scene we've given any of our guests. So thank you for taking
our
that
sweetest, kindest guest gets the saddest ending.
The highs and lows of watching this scene, or like this sequence and going, oh, cool, I get to talk about Bella and Cinta. And oh, this is how we're ending it.
Yes. Sorry about that. But, I think something interesting about this 7 minutes is we get to talk about basically every female character except Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
And we also are just seeing how fucking sad everybody is. Like,
if we started with Jane Austen, we were ending with Emily Bronte.
Mm-hmm. Liz, thank you so much for being here. Do you have any final thoughts about this episode or the show that you didn't get to touch on?
Well, thank you for having me. I guess final thoughts are it was really a joy to go back and revisit Andor because I haven't watched it since it came out.
Okay.
So getting to rewatch this episode just made me remember like, oh yeah, this show is great. And it's worth examining under a microscope the way that you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if you want to be found, where can people find you?
So I do post my cosplay pictures on Instagram, so you can find me on there.
We will link in the bio.
Yeah. I'm also on Blue Sky, but I rarely post.
Same.
And I do want to plug, I'm part of a makerspace in Los Angeles called Crashspace. I was president for 5 years, but I'm still a member and I still love it. And I want to encourage anybody who's in Los Angeles or is curious about getting into making or being creative to check it out.
Just like Marva, you got out being president.
Yes. I did feel, yeah. And then lastly, I wanted to plug my husband's video game is coming out this year. It's called Rock Beast, and people should wishlist it on Steam. It's really cool. I have nothing else to plug, so
no, that's great.
Yeah.
Definitely wishlist Micah's game. So we're so happy to get the whole family on board.
And you're our last.
Yeah, you're our last guest.
Thanks for listening to the Andor podcast.
Yeah, thanks for listening. This got real sad, so we can't keep watching the show. No, we'd love to have you back. Is there any particular character or moment in season 2 that you would like to come back for?
I mean, anything with Mon Mothma. She's one of my favorite characters in Andor, but then also, I mean, she's one of the 2 women characters in the original series, so... Yeah, and I would love to talk about her. But then I also love the scene in season 2 where Cassian and Bix are at like the bodega and they're grocery shopping. That's a fun scene too.
Is there any costume in Andor that you would like to cosplay?
Oh, I do think I'd want to do some Mon Mothma cosplay because she's got some really cool gowns, particularly in season 2. So if we go to Star Wars Celebration next year, I think Andor cosplay would be fun.
That would be
great.
You
could be Mon Mothma, and then we can get Micah to be the little DJ droid.
Mm-hmm. That would be rad.
That'd be fun.
I did see someone at AwesomeCon who had was dressed as a Chandrillan and had like a little stick with the DJ droid on it.
Nice.
But I told him like you gotta just get like a Sonos like Bluetooth in there, and just blast that song on repeat. That's the way to do it. So you can make that happen.
Yeah.
You have a whole year before Celebration to
Plenty
to
of
do
time.
it.
And if any of our listeners want to get us your favorite Andorix hosts
Yes.
to Star Wars Celebration.
Yes, if anybody here works in Disney PR, we will gladly take a press badge. But no, you'll just have to tune in a year from now to hear how that goes. Because we're gonna say goodbye to this 7 minutes of Andor now. Thank you so much for being here, Liz. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. It helps us get the
If you
the
work
name
for
out
Disney
there.
PR, get us to there. If you don't work for Disney PR, open your podcast app right now and
Right now, give us 5 stars. Write a review. It helps
if
out.
the review says podcast good, that helps the algorithm as much as anything else.
Yes, absolutely. That's really all you need to do. It takes 10 seconds of your time. You can also follow Andorix on social media at AndorixPod. Send in your questions about the show to andorixpod@gmail.com. And we will see you next week for part 6 of season 1, episode 8, Narkina 5. Later, dorks.
Bye, dorks.
Bye, dorks.